I'm going to state the obvious. Things have changed in more ways than one. I mean, I've never seen people so defeated, deflated, and just not having hope for the future as today. People feel like they can't get a good paying job. The cost of living and everything else is skyrocketing. AI is taking over jobs. Everything you do is being surveilled from your vehicle to out in public to your own phone. And people just feel like they're stuck in this hamster wheel. And for what? And for what? Let's take a look at some of these clips so you guys can see what I'm talking about.
I think I speak for all millennials when I say we're tired in a way that feels permanent. It's not like I stayed up too late type of tired, or I just need a good night's rest tired. No, it's more like I have 507 open tabs in my brain that I can't close type of tired. And I think it's because we've been conditioned to like always be on. There's always something we forgot or need to schedule or need to buy or need to remember next week. And the rare instance that we do get a second to relax, our brains are still working. They're still running the background process, like updating the anxiety or installing new stress for absolutely no reason. But the craziest part is that like we've gotten so used to it, we don't even talk about it anymore. You'll ask somebody, how you doing? They'll say, oh, tired. And everybody just kind of nods along like, yep, that checks out. We don't even ask why, because at this point, being tired isn't like an occasional feeling. It's become part of our operating system. Like, honestly, I don't think millennials need more sleep. I think we all just need one day where absolutely nothing requires our attention.
I'm gonna need somebody in the federal or local government, somebody says, tell me when the Americans said, hey, we want data centers and we want monitored at all time and we want vehicles that can just shut themselves off whenever they feel it. I'm pretty sure none of us have said, oh, please watch my every movement, Daddy, for my safety. We don't want you data centers. We don't want you AI. We don't want you flock cameras. We don't want you AI detection vehicles. We want none of this shit.
This is breaking news. Starting in 2027, refrigerator manufacturers will no longer sell refrigerators with automatic ice makers unless you have a subscription fee. That's right, starting in 2027, for 1 year, you can buy a refrigerator and it will make ice for you if you want. But after that 12-month period is over, you're going to have to pay a $29.95 subscription fee in order to get ice made in your refrigerator. It's just every year at the beginning of the year, you will pay a $29.95 fee and your refrigerator will be allowed to continue to make ice. Should you fail to pay that fee, of course, you have no subscription, they will shut off your ice making capabilities and you will just have a regular refrigerator.
Explain to me what this is. I was just driving and I noticed this camera staring at me. There's a camera poking on both sides. You're not slick. What is this, Arizona? Explain to me. And there's a cable going on the backside. Runs up here and just goes off in the distance.
Do you want to know why they want to make society cashless? If you do something they don't like, they can freeze your card and you won't be able to buy anything.
Hey, so everyone has lost their mind. Apartment hunting, housing market, renting, whatever it is, you've absolutely lost your mind. So as I sit here apartment hunting here in Los Angeles, would you believe that I came across this place, $2,500 a month, okay, 1 bedroom, no utilities included, you have to pay for your parking, bare bones, 3 times the rent, $650 minimum credit, okay? I scroll down to the bottom and I see that in order for you to access your unit that you are paying $2,500 for, okay, you must subscribe to a monthly membership to use your key fob. If you don't, you will not be able to access your unit that you pay $2,500 for. What are we doing? I know why people are burning down warehouses, and I know why people are running up on CEOs and sending them back to their maker. People are tired, and it is only going to get worse. This is quite literally something that the average American will not just work their way out of. They will not skip a latte out of. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? What are we doing?
Flock cameras are not just crime deterrents. They are watching you, they are logging you, even if you do not commit a crime. They have systems that log your license plate, your vehicle details, the time that you were there, the location. They can catalog your make, model, color, bumper stickers, roof racks, even visible damage to your vehicle down to scratches and dents. And then they store that data in searchable databases used by police and other three-letter agencies across the country. That is not just crime prevention. That is mass surveillance being marketed to us as safety. Well, don't do crime and you'll be okay. You are thinking way too small. You are quite literally still inside of the box. You trust the government with a permanent surveillance network? Freedom means being left alone by the state unless you have actually done something, not being tracked just in case. And something that absolutely baffles me is the fact that the CEO of Flock Safety has already compared people exposing the camera locations and criticizing these systems to terrorists and Antifa. That should alarm everyone. That is how civil liberties get eroded. First, by labeling dissent as dangerous, then by expanding surveillance in the name of security, right? And before I show you what a flock looks like, let's talk about my own city. If these cameras are just harmless crime deterrents, why is Louisville, Kentucky fighting so hard to keep their location secret? Louisville has deployed over 200 plus city-owned flock cameras, and police also have access to hundreds more shared cameras from businesses, HOAs, universities, other entities across Jefferson County. Around 600 cameras total that the government can tap into. Metro officials and LMPD have refused to publicly disclose exact camera locations. Earlier this month, Louisville Metro Council voted down a proposal that would have required the city to publish these locations online. They love to say, if you're not doing anything wrong, then you shouldn't care. Okay, uno reverse. If you're not doing anything wrong, why do you care that we want to know where they are? Why are you hiding the cameras? I live in the West End, so I'm actually going to walk you to the flock closest to my neighborhood so that you can see what mass surveillance looks like right here at home. Okay, so this is a flock camera at the corner of Dixie Highway and Dumenil Street in Louisville. Most people drive past this and never think twice, and that's the point. Surveillance works best when it feels normal and when it feels invisible. We're told not to worry about facial recognition or expanded tracking, but we have no proof that they won't do that or that they haven't already. The issue isn't just what they claim that the cameras do today, it's what these systems can become once the infrastructure is already everywhere. Flock cameras reduce crime, police reduce crime. You know what else guarantees reduced crime? Paying people enough to survive instead of poverty wages. Housing and rent prices that don't keep people paycheck to paycheck. Healthcare that people can actually afford. Education that creates opportunity for young adults, treatment for addiction and mental health, the kind of stability that keeps people from desperation in the first place. They would rather monitor poverty than end it. Oh, well, there's no expectation of privacy in public. Being seen in public is not the same as having your movements logged, stored, analyzed, retraced, all to be sold to a private surveillance network. We recognize that persistent tracking can become harassment or stalking when individuals do it. So why is mass automated tracking suddenly acceptable when these corporations and the government does it? It's weird.
So your vehicles will now be spying on you, and not just spying on you with video and audio surveillance, but they're going to be sending out information to local police departments. They're going to be sending out information to your car insurance company, telling them how fast you drive, how fast you go around corners, or how often you hit the brakes heavily so that they can raise the rates of your insurance. And if you don't believe that, here's just a few proofs. In 2021, the U.S. government passed legislation that by 2027, all of this information, all of this technology must be in all vehicles sold in America. And as you can see over here, it is already being done. It's already being implemented. Folks, you're now being spied on by your own car. Welcome to America. Late stage capitalism at its finest. And you know how these companies are working together? Because they're all owned by the same three companies. The car companies and the insurance companies and the tech companies are all owned by BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. You're welcome.
Does nobody else notice the lack of excitement, the lack of anticipation, the lack of care? We're in a bad place, people. You feel it. I feel it. Everyone feels it. And the people that are just wealthy enough to not feel it have even started to understand that they're about to start feeling it. We've hit the point of no return, you know? And it's one of those things like, I'm very encouraged by the amount of people that say they want to do something and organize and all those things. And I really hope you do. But like, I think most people have kind of just devolved to the place of, I'm just going to sit back and see what happens from this point on, you know? And that's a depressing place to be, you know, as a people. But I feel like that's where we all are. Like, let's just sit back and relax and see where the log flume takes us. I don't know, man. Things have gotten so impossibly difficult. It really shouldn't be this way.
I swear every millennial in 2026 is just totally ready to pull a complete 180 because we basically grew up in an era where we watched innovation make life genuinely better every single year. Like, think when cell phones first came out, or iPods, digital cameras, smartphones, when there was literally an app for everything. Like, we were so incredibly pumped. And then it just turned. Everything became a subscription. Social media became an algorithm. A sandwich costs $20 for whatever reason, and you can't go 24 hours without some sort of once-in-a-lifetime event coming directly to your phone, which is now, by the way, a 7-inch supercomputer that was designed to command our attention 24/7. Like, where I'm getting at, we were sold on the idea that technology was going to bring convenience and make things more affordable, and it just snowballed into whatever era we are currently living in today. And now, almost every millennial I know would basically gladly trade all of it for a job as a park ranger who only needs a flip phone, who lives out west in like a tiny town with this cute little diner on the corner where the waitress knows their order.
This is why the average American is struggling and complaining about wages and the cost of living. Here's the math. There's about 80 million Americans making $50,000 or less. And these are essential jobs that we need to operate this entire country. And they are being underpaid. $50,000 after taxes, 401k, and health insurance is $2,900 a month take-home pay in 2026. Let's say they find an apartment with utilities for $1,500 a month. Let's say that they do a perfect budget of $100 a week for groceries. They don't eat out. They don't do DoorDash. They are perfect when it comes to their food. $400. Let's say they get a used car well below the average for $300 to get them back and forth on their 45-minute commute. Then they have $150 for car insurance, $150 for gas, $150 for cell phone and internet, and $100 for personal care. Leaves them with $150. And they have no student loans and no credit cards. How is somebody in America in 2026 who is financially perfect, zero debt, investing in their 401k, budgeting to the dime, has $150 left over? How do they go on dates? How did they travel? God forbid, what if someone passes away in their family and they have to go travel out of state to the funeral, or a friend is getting married? They would have to put that on a credit card. We have built an economy that if you're perfect, you still have to have a second job in order to make progress. And it's so exhausting to hear people just throw out these things. Would you ever think about cutting your expenses? What are you going to cut? This person is perfect. The wages have to go up, or we need to cut taxes on the first $100,000 and allow people to keep their money. Our generation got fucked.